Neverwhen Forest, written and read by J.N.H. Harper. Issue 1, Vol.1, Welcome to Nowhere. Tokyo, Japan, Haneda Airport, 1979, 5:17 p.m. There's not much to look at, thinks Carlson. He wheels his luggage into the taxi lounge and waits. A middle-aged Japanese man walks up to him in a burgundy suit, probably made for the job. There's a brief moment of eye contact before he takes Carlson's luggage and puts it into the boot. "Where to?" says the man in broken English. "Take me to Neverwhen Forest," says Carlson in perfect Japanese. The man takes a step back, but he doesn't comment, for a job needs doing. Perhaps in another world they could be equals, but Carlson's forever certain that such a man as this will work under him for as long as he lives. "That is a place of death, sir," says the man. Carlson gives him a look that reveals all of what he's willing to hear, and that wasn't part of it. The man looks to the floor and bows. They get in the car and continue in silence. They pass many structures that are being built in Tokyo City. Tourists fill the ancient tombs and temples like ants, although Carlson doesn't have time for that. He knows why he's here. He likes to think he's on business. What he thinks is a lie. Once out of the city, the world is green. Various trees seem to shoot out of the ground. Carlson cannot understand. He's not used to such flora. He grew up in a city, New York City, the city that hardly sleeps. There's a smile that he can't help but let loose. The driver looks in his rearview mirror and feels warm inside. He likes it here, he thinks. Perhaps he would like a wife. The last thought crosses his mind quickly, but still far too long for it to have been stray. He thinks of his daughter, whose photo hangs from the rearview mirror along with a necklace of charms. The charms are a selection of yellow flowers that protect the individual and the car on the road. His daughter is 18 in 6 months. That's what the birth certificate tells him. He knows she's much younger. Upon arrival at the forest, there's a faint chill in the air, which is unusual for a country such as this. The taxi man knows why. Carlson is not too sure whether the tales are true. All he needs to do is focus on his job. Get in and get out is what his master once told him when he joined the organization. Nobody liked it there. "Thank you," says Carlson, out of a common courtesy. Of course he could not care for the man's feelings. The man nods and leaves in the cab. Carlson stares on as it drives away far too quickly for his liking. He wants to write a complaint, but he knows what happened the last time he made things even remotely personal, and he'd rather avoid that. There's too much to look at, thinks Carlson. Despite the forest being described by his tip-off as small, this was anything but. Of course, that is to be expected when you're in Japan. The forest goes on for 4 whole miles, and beyond that is a swamp. Perhaps he could have hired a helicopter, but then he knows he needs to face his losses on foot. Carlson received a call at midnight 3 days ago. Most of it was a jumbled mess, but something about the voice on the other end reminded him of what he lost 10 years ago. The faint image of a small hand slipping out of his own caresses his mind. Carlson shakes, brushing the memory away. It's best to keep his faculties with him, so not to distract him from his main goal. Find his daughter. 1 step. 2 steps. Carlson's feet step over a stone boundary that orbits the forest. It's been theorized that ancient warriors placed it there to keep the darkness inside. Although now Carlson has stepped across it, he questions whether he can ever step back. Nervously, he turns around, observing the stone line. Maybe he should check, but something in him would rather carry on into the depths. So he does. Trees bend in all sorts of ways, bushes grow leaves into the ground, and the roots shoot up into the air. The landscape is certainly alien even to the locals. The nature of the place seems derelict to Carlson on the surface, yet footprints. Carlson kneels down to take a closer look. Boots accompanied by smaller bare feet. The mud is dry and cracking. Someone passed here a while ago. Lisa? "Are you really here?" says Carlson, the wind blowing through his greying hair. Carlson looks up at the sound of rustling in the trees. Maybe he's wrong, but he swears he can hear laughing, giggling, a haunting presence beyond that. Neverwhen Forest turns darker by the minute, and as the sun goes down, the rumours may finally come to light. Knock knock. The first house. It surprises Carlson that a village was once present here nearly a century ago. Rumours circulated around the time. Mostly superstition, but even if a glimmer of it is true, Carlson's daughter may still be alive. Although she'd be in her 20s by now. Would he really like to meet her? Not an answer. Carlson slides the aged bamboo door open and steps inside, the mustiness of wet grass and old wood. There is dust covering all the furniture, classically oriental. Closing the door behind him, rays of light pass through holes in the doorframe. They're like lasers, highlighting sharp edges and entering unlit rooms. The same can be said for the holes in the roof that act like beacons, guiding Carlson through the house. "Hello?" shouts Carlson, wincing at his own volume. Not a click, nor a tick. Merely the wind swaying in the trees and the odd creak of the bamboo structure. Carlson notices something. The faintest whisper. Words he is not familiar with, yet close by. It sounds like praying. Another few steps through the house, and it disappears. Neverwhen Forest. Written and read by J.N.H. Harper. Issue 1, Volume 1, Welcome to Nowhere.